this shit. Tell them crackers I bleed the fifth. Bring that fire like Prometheus. I ain't tripping off that measly shit. Debba keep the fifth. Malak just got some bullets they heat seeking shit.
Alright, first and foremost, what we call Halal Yahweh by Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. That's all praise to the Most High. The name is only begotten Son, who we call Jesus Christ. But the Israelites out in the Bay, here to preach the downfall of this wicked nation, Babylon. Peace, and prosperity, and salvation to the 12 tribes of Israel. Man, it's been a hell of a week, man. You know? World War III is on the brink, which is, you know, a good thing. What else? I just read something earlier that really caught my eye. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. It really caught my eye. Where's it at? Matter of fact, I remember it. I think I posted it in the chat. How mob bosses in Russia are putting the hit out on Putin. Like, why would they do that to their own quote-unquote president? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But when America tried to put sanctions on Russia, the inner workings of Russia, their economy starts collapsing, and you know, money gets tight, and people that depend on certain resources and imports, exports, things like that, and they stop shipments from coming. That's when these bosses' money gets stopped up, and they're like, wait a minute, Putin didn't consult me about it. Obviously, he's not a part of, you know, their infrastructure and government, things like that. People that have like criminal enterprises, so they're putting $1 million bounties on Putin, which is not enough money, first and foremost. That's not enough money to take out Putin. Putin's above that. He has a military. You have people that run clubs and underground infrastructure. That's nothing. But that just goes to show. What?
But right now he's actually afraid of assassination. He got some extra details, security detail on him.
Yeah, and he put his family in a bunker or whatnot. But that's for war reasons. But at the same time, Ukraine's not sending nobody to Russia ever. Like, they're not gonna do that. They're not big enough. They don't have the military power. But since they already infiltrated Ukraine, they have all right to defend themselves, which is what they're doing. So.
And also about the billionaires, like the millionaires over there, like the private sector is not the same as over here. Like the private sector over here, like all these CEOs of companies are regular civilians. Over there, a lot of them are ex-military. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's totally different. The economy over there is totally different.
I believe it.
Like the government and private sector, the lines are blurred over there. Like,
They all got experience in certain aspects of military, government, things like that. But the main point I'm saying this for is, even though, you know, it's not necessarily our conflict with America and things like that, it's about Satan casting out Satan. But what's going on, bro? How you doing, man? Okay, you gave him a flyer? You believe in the Bible, brother? You go to church at all, anything like that?
Not right now, but I'm like raised in church.
As people are in our communities, what have you learned from the church about the Bible that you're familiar with?
Kind of just, you know, give instructions on how to live your life, how to treat people, you know.
What instructions are those that you can remember?
Like, I know the Ten Commandments.
Ten Commandments?
Yeah, you know, honoring your parents.
Interesting. So, you would say, growing up, you kept the Ten Commandments, or people that you know in the church?
Yeah.
You keep the Ten Commandments?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody in the church, but
What am I saying? This is people that you're familiar with.
you know, it's a mixed bag, bro. Some people follow it, some people in there.
Okay, so what can you say they followed in the church of the Ten Commandments? I'm going to let you know now. None of those people in church keep the Ten Commandments. That's a fact. They can say whatever they want. They run to Paul, they run to Jesus, or not, I don't want to say run to Jesus, but they run to certain precepts that Jesus said. All they have to do is what? Love God and love your neighbor. But guess what? Loving your neighbor isn't in the Ten Commandments. So they harp on the Ten Commandments and say you got to keep the Ten Commandments. They're lying, because they don't do the Ten Commandments. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Based on what they're telling you and what they actually say, because I know what they say. We talk to them all the time. You're telling me how they treat people with the Ten Commandments, but in the same breath they'll say the law is done away with. We don't have to keep the law no more, right? But the Ten Commandments are in the law, correct? So how does that work?
You know, some people, I don't know, some people in there for the wrong reasons, some people there for the right reasons.
What would you say the wrong reasons are?
Wrong reasons. I guess that would be the people that are gossiping.
Gossiping?
Fornicating.
You know it's a sin, right?
Yeah.
You know gossiping is a sin? Fornication is a sin. What type of fornication there?
I guess.
There's a misconception about that too. You had, or you get into Hebrew energy. What are the right reasons?
The right reasons?
Because you mentioned some earlier, but I want to know what you think.
To go to church, I guess, to have a relationship with God and, fellowship and have community.
Okay. Fellowship, have a relationship with God. Give me that in 1 John. 3 and 4. Let's just read the Bible. That's what we do up here. I just want to get your basis of what you think. We're just going to read the Bible up here. That's all we're going to do. That's another thing the Christian church doesn't do. They don't read the Bible. They might read one verse and then go for 2 hours, feel good message, and then at the end of that message, hey, pass on this collection plate, get a few dollars for everybody. Because it's a feel good thing, right?
Yeah.
Sing some songs, eat some food, gossip with the thing.
Dress up.
So it is. It's a fashion show. That's all. It's entertainment at the end of the day. It's theatrics. What you got?
This is the word for fornication. It's Strong's H2181. It says zana, and it means to commit fornication, be a harlot, play the harlot,
Yeah, like a hoe. Go ahead.
act as a harlot, to commit adultery.
So you made adultery. What's adultery? Because adultery's in the 10 Commandments. But you would agree adultery happens in the church, right? Mainly the Christian pastors. Supposed to flee in the church. How does that make sense? That's crazy. What's adultery, brother?
Adultery, I guess that's like cheating on your wife, right?
Not necessarily. Adultery is sleep with somebody else's wife.
Yeah.
Or a woman sleep with someone else's wife. I would say a married woman sleep with someone else's husband.
Yeah.
That's adultery. A married person. Go ahead.
It says to be a cult prostitute,
Man,
to be unfaithful to God.
that's spiritual fornication. Talking about idolatry. We'll get to that in a second. Go ahead. Get to the actual definition.
Strong's definition, it says to commit adultery, usually of a female, and less often of simple fornication, rarely of involuntarily ravishment, figuratively to commit adultery, the Jewish people being regarded as the spouse of Jehovah.
Yeah, we talking about the Israelites commit adultery spiritually, serving other gods, idols. Go ahead.
Whore, to commit to whoredom, or cause to go a whoring or whorish.
So let's just stop right there, because the Christian church will be like, well, you guys aren't married, you're fornicating. But this is the Hebrew, the definition. It didn't say that in there, right? So where did they get that from?
I don't know, bro. I didn't know that.
That's good. So you learned something. I just want to get that out the way. Give me Genesis 24, 67. Was that the Greek?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Greek and then give me that in Genesis. Because there's all type of misconceptions and lies that the Christian church has been pumping out for years. And since you believe in God, we're going to read God's word. We're not going to do what the pastor does. Because you know how they learn the Bible? They learn from the slave master, the white man. People think this is a white man's book, but no. The Bible existed long before the white man got their hands on it. Thousands of years before that, honestly. This is the ancient text. Written by the Israelites, right? Moses, David, Solomon, those are all Israelites. Jesus was a Jew. The white man didn't exist, or he existed, but he didn't have his hands on it, he didn't have control over it. It's in the English language, but it was translated by black people, melanated people, you know? Give me that.
This is the word for fornication in the Greek. It's Strong's G4202, porneia, and it says...
What is it?
Porneia.
Porneia, where you get porn from, read.
Illicit sexual intercourse.
Illicit sexual intercourse. So we already read adultery is part of that, but when we read the law, fornication's adultery, bestiality, you know, what else is fornication?
Incest.
Yeah, incest. That's fornication. Not sleeping before marriage, because when you read the Bible, sex is marriage. We can read that in a second. Give me that.
It says adultery, fornication, homosexuality.
Homosexuality. That's real fornication. You from San Francisco? LA? You moved out here?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know about San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
This is quote unquote the gay capital of the world.
Yeah.
But that's part of fornication. That's literal fornication. Go ahead.
Lesbianism,
Lesbianism. Homosexuality, period. Read.
intercourse with animals,
Oh, wait. Bestiality, like I said. Go ahead.
sexual intercourse with close relatives,
Incest. Go ahead.
sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. But if they're married, that's adultery. That's what it's referencing. But that's fornication. Not sleeping, not sex before marriage. That's not fornication. There's no paperwork that people sign in the Bible outside of an agreement between a man and a father and another father at that particular time. We don't do that in today's world. We go to the state, sign documents with the state, pay thousands of dollars to get married, and then guess what? If something doesn't work out, we got to go back to the state, sign more paperwork, pay more money just to get divorced. Like, that's madness. That's not in the Bible. You know, it's not, you can have a ceremony. There's nothing wrong with a ceremony. But as far as documenting and signing up with the government to be recognized, like, no. You can get a notary. That's not a problem. You can go to court and get a notarized certificate, people being married, things like that.
I'm sure records in the temple.
Yeah, we did have records. I'm saying though, but I'm talking about just going to the
today,
state.
yeah.
Yeah, today's concept of marriage. But give me that Genesis.
This is Genesis
Give me that,
24 and 67.
Leviticus 19. Go ahead.
It says, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent
Isaac brought Rebekah in his mother Sarah's tent. Read.
and took Rebekah.
And took Rebekah. What does took Rebekah mean?
Intercourse.
Intercourse, right? It says intercourse, right? Go ahead.
And she became his wife.
Plain. Right there in the Bible. Did they read that to you in church? Why not?
I don't know, bro.
Hey man, listen, I'm telling you why. It's an agenda, and that's why I wanted to finish actually my thought on how the pastors learn the Bible. They learn from the slave master because guess what? When they brought in the slaves, they already had an agenda. I'm not going to say it started with the Catholic Church, but the Catholic Church did birth a lot of these doctrines. Mainly, how Christ was born on December, Easter, all that type of stuff. Those are idols, literally. And they go back to Babylon, Egypt, things like that. But they put it in the Bible to appease everybody that was in the land at that time, which on the eastern side of the world. But now, if you want to be a pastor, somebody ordained with a certificate, whatever the case may be, not a theologian, but basically as a pastor, you got to go to the white man. You got to learn how they learn. And they say what? Everybody can be saved. Everybody, God loves everybody. All that type of madness. Doesn't make any sense. The law's done away with, but at the same time, they keep tithes. Tithes is in the laws of God. So all the laws are done away with except for tithes because you want money, right? That's madness. Nobody in the Bible asked for money to preach. They did it mockingly, I think in Zechariah, but all the prophets weren't preaching for money. Jesus wasn't preaching for money. So if they're trying to say they want to be like Christ didn't ask people for any money, right or wrong.
Yeah, no, I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. All he did was ask people to stop sinning. But we can get that in a second.
Leviticus 20 and 10.
Yeah, give me that.
Leviticus 20 and 10. And the man that committeth adultery
Read.
with another man's wife,
Yeah, that's adultery. You sleep with another man's wife. Read.
even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife,
Go ahead.
and the adulterer and the adulteress
Read.
shall surely be put to death.
So if the pastor has a big congregation, he's married, obviously, and other people are married in this congregation, there's a lot of fornication going on, like you said. They sleep with other people's wives. In the Bible, they're supposed to die for it. But guess what they do? Oh, he's a pastor. He's a man of power. They just look up to him like he's a god. But it's wickedness. It's madness. And people don't even think twice about it because he's a leader. But give me that in Proverbs 29 and 2. You got that? Give me that.
This is Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority,
Read.
the people rejoice.
When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So guess what? You might rejoice singing a gospel song, but if you know that the pastor's wicked as hell, like I just seen a video, literally, dude walked up to the pulpit and just socked the pastor. because he slept with his wife. That's what's supposed to happen. Like, bro, what are you doing? He's leading the congregation talking about being holy and righteous and loving Christ, but he's sleeping with somebody's wife. Somebody just socked his ass. He's lucky he didn't shoot him. But that's offensive to somebody. Would you agree? For your wife and that person you're supposed to trust with your soul, your livelihood, technically, your salvation, quote unquote. But that's madness, man. But guess what? All he wants is money and sex. That's what preachers do it for.
I know of a case like that too.
What?
When I was incarcerated, this dude used to come in, right? He used to, I think he used to have like art classes and shit. Well, he opened up to a group of us and he was crying. He said that his pastor slept with his wife and she left him for the pastor and hell shit.
Crazy.
This is the type of stuff that's happening in the Christian church, man.
And it goes on all across the world. And people don't even think about it. Why? Because he's the leader. Like I said, people don't find out, some people find out. And that's how people get put to death. Give me that in Proverbs 8 and you know what I want, 32? Give me that.
It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
And that goes hand in hand with today right now. That's what's supposed to happen. When people lead you astray and betray your trust, when they're supposed to be leading you spiritually, you're going to mourn like, damn, like this brother turned out to be somebody that's fake. He's fraudulent. He's a snake. That's what happens. You know what I want? Huh? Nah, he got it. Yeah, give me that. Proverbs 8.
It's Proverbs 6.
6 and 32? Yeah, give me that.
Proverbs 6 and 32. Whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding.
You lack understanding because why? It's a law of God. You're sinning first and foremost, and you're basically going to be put to death for it. So you don't understand what's going to happen when you do it. You think you listen after your flesh. I'm going to get my rocks off. But at the end of the day, God like, what? Like, you know what's going on? You know what's going to happen to you? Go ahead.
He that doeth this, it destroyeth his own soul.
You destroy your own soul. Go ahead.
A wound and dishonor shall he get.
Go ahead.
And his reproach shall not be wiped away.
Read.
For jealousy is the rage of a man.
Jealousy is the rage of a man. You make another man jealous, hey, something bad might happen. Go ahead.
Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance.
He's not going to spare you. He say you caught you in red-handed, like they say. You liable to get put to death.
Or he might seek you out.
Yeah, he might chase you down, run up on you anywhere. At your job, with your kids, whatever the case may be. You put yourself in danger because you don't understand what's happening. You think it's just sex, like, oh no, your life's on the line now. Go ahead.
Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance.
Read.
He will not regard any ransom.
You can't pay him off no more. You can't pay me to not be mad at you. Go ahead.
Neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts.
Yeah, you can't bribe him no more. That's what a lot of people think they can do. Like, oh, well, your girl might go after somebody with a lot more money than you because she want to, have some perks. But guess what? Y'all both going off. And him approaching your lady in that fashion is disrespectful. Like, you should know better. Like, come on, bro. She said you got a man. Keep it moving. That's what we do. Like, you talking to somebody, all right, I'm out of here. You enjoy yourself. You're not supposed to lust after. You're not supposed to encourage that. That's how you break up happy homes. And God sees it for foremost. That person might not kill you, but God sees it, and God's going to judge you for that. You know what I mean? But besides that, give me that, Titus.
Titus 1 and 10 says, for there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers.
Go ahead.
Especially they of the circumcision.
Yeah, especially they of the circumcision. Circumcision is talking about the Israelites first and foremost. Go ahead.
Whose mouths must be stopped.
Whose mouths must be stopped. The Christian pastor's mouth got to stop these days. Because Christianity's been around for a long time. And you know what? We represent the Israelites. And we come to the Christians and say we're Israelites. They don't want to talk to us. But we all believers in the Bible, right? But you know why they don't want to talk to us? Because we actually understand the Bible. We're not going to allow them to lie to us and tell us things that aren't true. Like I said, we didn't even get to all the topics I want, but this is just the basic information. If we got time, we can go into a little bit of everything. But I want to keep reading this.
Whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses.
Yeah, you subvert a whole house. You're bringing down a household what you're teaching somebody. If I tell you that Because you started off by saying what? You want to be good people or teach how to be a good person. And I was like, okay, well, how you do that? 10 Commandments. Okay, well, wait a minute. At the same breath, like I said before, they're going to tell you the laws are done away with. You don't have to keep the laws no more. So which one? It can't be both, right? It's a contradiction. So which one are you going to believe? You're more likely going to believe the one that they stand on the most, which is the laws are done away with. But Christ never said that. And God never ordained that the laws are going to be done away with. Give me that Baruch 5. Give me that.
Come on, it says teaching things.
And give me Deuteronomy 33 and 2. Go ahead.
Come on, teaching things which they ought not.
And teach things they shouldn't be teaching. First and foremost, like I said before, if you know history, when we came over here, or not we, but just quote unquote Negroes came over here off of slave ships, they didn't know how to read English and write English. Right or wrong? So who are they learning from? Their enemy, right? And they were accepting everything that they brought to them, including the doctrine that they taught out of the Bible. And you know, there's a literal slave Bible, right? You heard about that?
I've never heard of that.
You never heard that before? There's a slave Bible that they had. It's in the museum, but they printed an actual copy. The brother's not here today, but he brought it to camp like a month ago. If you look at the table of contents, it's like they're missing books in almost every book. And some books don't even exist. 0% of the book is in the Bible, of the slave Bible. It's mostly the Old Testament too. But do you know why? Because it's powerful in the Old Testament. The Most High is literally speaking in the Old Testament. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Creator. And there's laws that go against the current infrastructure of the church. And if we live by those laws, especially as the people of the book, I believe you're an Israelite, and we can teach you that. If you're a Black, Hispanic, Native American, you're an Israelite. And this is our history. So guess what? If they tell you to go against your own history and heritage and customs, they want you to be in sin. And the wages of sin are death. We agree on that. You know what I mean? Give me that.
Kind of says teaching things which they ought not.
Read.
For filthy lucre's sake.
For what?
For filthy lucre's sake.
For filthy lucre's sake, which is money. They're preaching for money's sake. You know what I mean? That's what they do it for. So guess what? Next time you get a couple collection plates at the pastor. Oh, next week I pull up in a Benz. Oh wait, next year I might pull up in a Ferrari. Now who's gonna look at you? More women, right? Women want me for my car. That's any man, not even a pastor, any man. You pull up in a nice car anywhere on the earth. Girls be like, oh, he got money. I'm gonna talk to him. Married or not, they don't care. Some of these women is wicked as hell too. But I'm just saying though, that's what they want. They want the money and the power, and they want to have the outside appearance of righteousness. But guess what? And what did Christ say? Or was it Paul? No, I think it was Christ. And inside they're ravenous as wolves, man. They're money hungry and they're lusting after other women, other men's wives as well. Do you have something?
I had Matthew 5.
Give me that first.
Baruch 5?
Baruch 5.
What?
5 and 1.
Baruch 5 and 1.
4 and 1.
Baruch 4 and 1. This is the book of the commandments of God.
This is the book of the commandments of God. Read on.
In the law that endureth forever.
Read that again.
In the law.
And the law, read.
That endureth forever.
The law endures forever. That's what the prophet said. Baruch is a scribe of the prophet Jeremiah. This is Baruch writing this. The law endures forever. And God don't change, right? That's something that Christians love to say. But they'll say, oh, God changed, the law's done away with. But in actuality, in the beginning of the book, he gave the Israelites 613 laws to live by. And in the end of the day, if you want to follow Christ, who is an Israelite, he taught the law as well. So how do we deal with that? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. That's why when you go to Christian church, you're just a zombie. You're just a droid. You're just monkey see, monkey do type thing. And that's why when you don't read for yourself, when you come with a different understanding, first and foremost, they might not even want you to be there no more. They might kick you out. I've heard that before. But guess what? Overall, you're messing up the money. Gotta deliver everybody? Oh, I gotta get out of here. That's what happens. I tell somebody that, they run. Oh, I can't talk to you no more. You don't believe what I believe? Oh, no, I can't talk to you. But guess what? Let's prove it to you first. Let's read the Bible to you. The same Bible you believe in. We can prove that that's a lie out of the Bible that you believe in. Give me that real quick. Give me Romans 9:13. Yeah, give me that.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
All they that keep the law, going what?
shall come to life.
What's that life talking about? What's going on, bro? All they that keep the law gonna come to life. But guess what? You're already alive, so it gotta be talking about something else, right? What life do you think that's talking about? It's spiritual, right? Everlasting life. Go ahead.
But such as leave it shall die.
Such as what?
Leave it shall die.
If you leave the law, meaning what? You're breaking God's laws, you're gonna die. Because what? You're in sin at that point. It's simple math. You know? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very simple, brother. And the Bible's so repetitive. All throughout the Bible, it repeats itself. When you get to Paul, it's a little obscure. But guess what? Paul doesn't go against Christ. But if you listen to a Christian pastor, he'll make it seem like Paul totally abandons what Christ is talking about. But in all actuality, he's going to people that aren't living in the land of Israel, who are actually quote unquote Gentiles, but they're Jews that were scattered to those lands, that weren't keeping the customs of the Jews. So of course he had to reintroduce them and say, okay, well, certain pieces of things that you're doing, I'm going to address, but at the end of the day, following Christ is going to get you to keep the law as well. Because Christ kept the law perfectly. So you can strive for that. You know what I mean? Give me that.
Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it.
Read.
Walk in the presence of the light thereof.
Walk in the presence of the light thereof. Read.
That thou may be illuminated.
That thou may be illuminated. Go ahead.
Give not thine honor to another.
Don't give your honor to another, whether that's another god, deity, things like that. Whether the person that's leading you astray. Go ahead.
Nor the things that are profitable unto a strange nation.
A strange nation. What's a strange nation to the black man or Hispanic man? America. Facts. Physically and spiritually, because America will have you believe, hey man, I'm 35 years old, guess what? I'm really a kid, brother. I'm trans age. Have you heard of that before? You ever heard of that? There's people that's really like 45 years old talking about, no, I'm really 12. So guess what? Now that I think I'm 12, I can talk to a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 8-year-old. I'm not a pedophile, I'm 12, guys. I'm 45, but I'm really 12 in my mind, so you can't judge me for that.
And you got to address me.
That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing right now. You ever heard of that, brother? Brother, literally, it's crazy. Living in America will have you looking at other people like, wait a minute, this don't make no goddamn sense. I am trans age, sir. I'm supposed to be in kindergarten again. I got to be in kindergarten again because I think I'm 10 again. You know, it doesn't make any sense, man. It's crazy. That's not even the worst of stuff. They approve bestiality, which is a sin according to the Bible. They have all type of I brought it out I think a couple weeks ago about the homosexual manifesto. I don't even want to get into that. That was madness. Just think about the title itself, the homosexual manifesto. It's an agenda to push homosexuality on Americans, starting with our kids, all that type of stuff. Put it in TV shows, cartoons. You see that? You can see that when you turn on TV. It's madness, man. And on the flip side, they push the black men to the forefront as far as this violent music, things like that. Okay, because that's what they want us to do. They want us to kill ourselves to make it easy on them, because their population is dwindling. They can't reproduce like we do. But guess what? If black, Hispanic, Native Americans turn right to the laws of God and recognize that we have an identity outside of slavery and things like that, we wouldn't be doing this to each other. That's why we're out here teaching brothers like you, sincere brothers that don't necessarily know the Bible but believe in God. And guess what? The things we're going to teach you is verbatim out the Bible. You might question some things, but that's not up to us to have you believe it. But what resonates with you will resonate with you. And after the first 10-15 minutes of the conversation, I proved that the things that you taught from the church is lies. It's contradicting itself in 30 seconds. The church contradicted itself in 30 seconds. 10 Commandments, laws and away with. Those two things don't go together. It can't work. Where you at?
Romans 9.
Where you at? Yeah, give me that.
No, start at
What did I
11.
call? Huh? Where you
Start
at?
at 11.
Oh yeah. What did I want?
You wanted like
Yeah, I got one.
Get Deuteronomy 28. I'm gonna go to the number one scripture that more likely brings most people into this information.
We'll start at 1 or just go straight to it?
What is 68?
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again,
Uh-huh.
with ships.
You're familiar with Moses, right? The story of Moses. He went to Egypt, let my people go, left Egypt with the Israelites, walked in the wilderness 40 years. This is when they're in the wilderness. After they left, God brings them commandments of what to do. And guess what? He also tells them, since you entered into this covenant with me, there's stipulations on it. If you break these laws, there's going to be a curse upon you and your children. And it's a generational curse. That's where they get it from, honestly, the Bible. But this is one of the curses, the main curses, that we know that we are the people of the Bible. Go ahead. Read that again.
Come on, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Lord's going to bring the Israelites into Egypt. Egypt is what? What is Egypt to the Israelites? What's that? No, it's not home, because they went into Egypt and they left Egypt. They weren't born in Egypt. Egypt, they were slaves in Egypt, right? So yeah, so read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Lord's going to bring the Israelites into Egypt, which is slavery, bondage, again, with ships. Read that.
Exodus 20:2. I am the Lord thy God,
I'm the Lord thy God. Read.
which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Egypt is the house of bondage according to the Israelites, according to the Bible. So if we put this together, read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord is going to bring the Israelites to slavery on ships. Who'd that happen to in history? Black people, right? And it also happened to Hispanics and Native Americans who fight escape. Because guess what? The white man came over here. You can't enslave the Native Indians and Hispanics that have lived here already. They know where to go. They know where to hide. So guess what? They shipped them to Puerto Rico. Or they shipped them to Spain, Hawaii, all them other countries, Philippines. They shipped them over there. So they can't run away over there. But guess what? They bring the black man from West Africa to the Americas. They can't run nowhere. They don't know where to go. They don't own no boats. So read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
They're going to bring you into slavery on ships. This is talking about black people in America, Hispanics and Native Americans. Right here in the Bible. Over 3,000 years ago. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Exactly how I'm telling you it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You're not going to see the old Egypt no more again. You're going to see a new Egypt. Go ahead.
And there,
once you get off them boats, them ships, read.
Ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Who that happened to? African Americans, right? When you get off them ships, you're going to be sold to your enemies. So who's your enemy according to this Bible? White people, right?
That's right.
It's plain. Go ahead. Why did the pastor read this? He can't read this, man. He wouldn't dare read this. Because that way, he would divide his whole congregation. I'm pretty sure there's white people in his congregation. But guess what? Christ was an Israelite, first and foremost. Christ's people went into slavery. Christ was in slavery. Even though he was living in Israel, the Romans ruled Israel at the time. Christ was in slavery. He didn't get sold on a ship, but this is a future prophecy after that, happening in the 1400s. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Slave men and slave women. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
Nobody's going to redeem black and Hispanic man at his predicament. And that's what happened, right? Until they ended slavery on the books, quote unquote. But it's still legal slavery when you go to jail. It's literally written in the amendments. But bottom line is, this is the main prophecy written thousands of years ago that proves who we are. And there's many more prophecies and curses and things that we can prove, and historical artifacts, things like that we can prove that the black, Hispanic, Native American man is the people of the Bible, the Israelites, chosen people of God. That's why we're so talented. That's why we're so followed as people that are celebrities. People all across the world followed him. 50 Cent, imagine how popular Michael Jackson was. He was a black man. He can go anywhere in the world, sell out like that, get $1 million in an hour because of his talent. There's certain white people that can do that, but guess what? They're not good at basketball like that. They're not good at football like that. There's a few white people that's good. But overall, we dominate everything. Food, fashion, entertainment, sports, movies, music, anything you think of, we run. Because we're the salt of the earth. We're the people of God. God chose us to be special, but guess what? In all the wrong fashions as well. Because we still murder each other. We still rob from each other. We still prostitute our people. we don't do anything that God told us to do, but guess what? He still blessed us. He's not going to take back his blessing. But guess what? He took back certain blessings of us having our own sovereignty, having our own country, things like that, because we forgo his laws. And the main sin of Israel, if you read in the Bible, is idolatry. And guess what? The cross that people love this champion, things like that, Christ didn't die on that type of cross. That's an idol. If you study ancient Babylon, that's a Babylonian symbol of Tammuz, the son of, what's his name? What? Yeah, Nimrod. That's Nimrod's son. Tammuz, that's what a T, it's a lowercase t for Tammuz, literally. But anyways, I don't know, I think you say you had to go, but that's the main thing that we want to harp on, brother. Give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Just briefly, because that's our main goal here, man. And give me that in 1 John, actually, 5 and 3. I got 2 more for you. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy 10 and 12. And now Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee?
So if you're an Israelite, which I believe you are, what does God require? What's your name, brother? Rick. What's that? Rick. Ricky. What does God require of Ricky in 2022? Go ahead.
But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways,
Read.
and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God
Read.
with all thy heart and with all thy soul,
Go ahead.
to keep the commandments of the Lord
Keep the commandments. Fear God. Keep the commandments. Go ahead.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
For thy good. It's a good thing to keep the commandments of God. That's how we get back to prominence. That's how we get out of this predicament in America. Because America is going to be destroyed. That's in the Bible as well. We don't got time. But if you got that flyer, I'm pretty sure you go on YouTube. Plenty of YouTube videos you can look up. All type of topics, all type of breakdowns, history, all that type of stuff. Things that correlate with what's going on today with Russia and Ukraine is in the Bible right now. Literally. Ezekiel 38 is going on, well, slightly going on right now. But that's how we know the Bible's true. If we believe in God and God's the creator and believe in God's book, the prophecies are how we know that God's real. Because nobody can go back in time and say, I don't know if God did this, and this, but guess what? There's historical findings that prove that God's real. Artifacts, manuscripts, things like that. But ultimately, how you prove God's real is these prophecies that were written before time that are happening over the course of history, you know? And give me that last one.
1 John 5 and 3. For this is the love of God.
But this is the love of God. Read.
That we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grievous.
If you love God, you keep his commandments, and his commandments aren't grievous. Grievous, they're not going to be tough for you to do. Because it's in your spirit to do naturally. Not eat pork, not eat shrimp, not eat crab, not eat lobster. Wear 100% clothing, you know? Those are things you can't control. Not sleep with somebody's wife. Not commit all type of other fornications that we talked about. That's plain and simple, brother. But guess what? If you look at the world and follow the world, which is not what I'm supposed to do, give me that in James 4 and 4 real quick. But and that just that simple thought process, that's what's keeping our people outside of God's mercy and grace. Because you want to be like everybody else. You want to be flashy and, you know, sell drugs and all that type of madness, thinking it's cool because they sing about it and you see it on TV, all these rappers. No. Half these rappers don't have no money. Those are gifts. Those are rented. You know? All them girls, they get paid to do that. They get paid to tell you to do stupid stuff. To kill each other. These rappers is not really doing that. That's right. There's a few that might creep into the industry and rap about it, but guess what? They want puppets in the industry. They want people that's going to follow the instructions of the oppressor, which is a Jewish man, which is not a real Jew, because these Jewish people run the world behind the scenes. But they get paid to corrupt our people's minds and their perception of righteousness. Go ahead, give me that real quick.
This is James 4 and 4. It says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world,
read,
is enmity with God?
Is enmity with God. You're against God if you're a friend of the world. Not necessarily just walking and having a job, things like that, but it's talking about the whole core of his ideologies. Thinking homosexuality is something you can't scoff at. If you beat up a homosexual, that's a hate crime now. But guess what? A cop kill a black man, get paid time off. You kill a police dog. Guess what? He's going to jail. Kill a black man, let's look up his past history. He's a criminal anyway. That's what they do. It's crazy. Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
You're an enemy of God, man. Believing in a Christian pastor, then these days you're an enemy of God. Because people leaving the church because they know how fraudulent it is these days. There's people that still believe in it. Okay, I'm just used to it. I love God. This is my only way. And so when we meet people like us that challenge their understanding, they get so mad and upset because guess what? It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different understanding that they have never heard before. But guess what? We're going to read the Bible though. We're not going to just preach at you and think you're some type of a wall where I can't challenge you and ask questions, because they don't ask questions in the church, do they? Have you ever seen anybody raise their hand and ask a question to the pastor while he's preaching? Never. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. You know why? Because it's not allowed. You can't embarrass a pastor, right? He's the leader. Oh my God. He's our spiritual father. How dare I question his authority? It's madness, man. But guess what? If a Christian walks up to us over here, I'm going to ask them plenty of questions and challenge what they believe. Because I already know what they're going to say half the time. So what we like to do is set them up. Hey, I'm going to ask you this. Okay, well, do you believe in this? Okay. Go to a Bible verse that says something totally different. What are they going to say? Oh, well, I got to study that. Well, wait a minute. I thought you believed in that. You don't believe God's word anymore? That's what people come here and do. They literally abandon God's word for whatever they heard in that Christian church. It's madness, man. But anyways, I don't want to hold you, Ricky. It's all good, brother.
Nice meeting you, brother.
Go ahead, if you don't got time, we come out here every week, every Saturday.
Okay.
YouTube videos, there's phone numbers on there. You got any information, or you want to have any questions, man, feel free to reach out, brother.
I'll check it out, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. You be safe, man. Hey, man. He's not a bug out, but like I said, he learned from bug outs, you know. But he's not too far gone to learn. I like that, you know. But some of our people are just too far gone, and we see it every week.